If you enjoy our show, spread the love wherever you listen by rating, reviewing, subscribing, sharing, all that good stuff to help us get ourselves out there. And with that said, let's start the show. I'm Ode. That's Vicky. I'm me. You're you. We are we.
Oh my God, that was so corny.
The You, Me, We
goodness.
podcast. And welcome back to another episode. How are you doing, my my love? How are you, my love?
I'm in pain.
Explain to the people.
Which
I'm sure we've told the listeners this before about our son.
Yeah, so Kalel likes to use me as his body pillow. Mm-hmm. And he just pushes against me all night.
So first, let's go back to, so Kalel does have his own room.
Kalel does have his own room
with a bed. Occasionally, we do start the night with him in his room.
Right.
If we get lucky, he'll fall asleep in his room. But give it maybe, it varies. It could be 3 o'clock a.m. It could be 5 a.m. It could be 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Somewhere
in the middle of the night.
Kalel will get up, leave his room, lock the door behind him. He has to close the door.
He closes the door.
Make his way into our room, onto the bed, in between Vicky and I, and get comfortable. Sometimes we'll wake up in the morning and he's there.
Yeah, but he gets in between us and then he throws his body against me.
Yeah.
And then he starts maneuvering his way onto my pillow and I'm holding onto the edge. So I'm trying to just find a way to sleep, and when I wake up my back is killing me.
If you've ever seen those memes of families, parents with kids where the parents are on the end of the bed and the kids are just there sprawled out throughout the night.
That's Kalel.
Yes, that is us. So last night.
But I feel like I take the brunt of the sleeping positions.
You don't want me to sleep uncomfortable?
Sleeping in position. Oh, no, not you.
So last night he made his way in. It was maybe 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 1:30.
No. He fell asleep in the bed because...
No, he went to bed.
I came home and you were sleeping and he was just there playing. And I said, Kalel, come on, let's go to bed, because I realized he was not going to go to sleep in his own bed. And I told him to just come sleep in our bed. It was the night before.
The night before, yeah. And I wasn't sleeping. I was up. I was just done.
With his eyes closed.
Because Kalel was wide awake. No, I was up.
Mm.
But that was I slept well.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. My back, it's been hurting all day. I've been able to get nothing done.
So this, and in no way is this me going out of order of our show. It's just relevant to the topic. Because you and I, I was last week Thursday. I was busy and I missed the show that I tune into on this app called Station Head. It's the Jazz Vince show, and it's hosted by a good friend of mine, Vince. He is the in-arena host for the LA Clippers. We got friends in high places. And his beautiful lady, Jazz, and they have a show where they recap, what is that show? Married at First Sight. Mm-hmm. And in Married at First Sight, so that was me giving them a shout out, which we'll just do again later on when we give some positive vibes to our people.
Why are you going out of order?
But the fact that it's a show called Married at First Sight, on the show, for those who watch it, these people have these conversations after, they just got married. And it made me think of having those conversations, and you're not married, just a relationship, first date type thing, and the type of conversations people have, the type of questions people have. And I think the next day on Hot 97, somebody had they did that show, that segment they have called Curbed, where someone called in and said the date went bad because the person was asking all these questions. There was questions you wouldn't ask somebody until, I don't know, months in or after you're married, hence Married at First Sight. But it was so awkward because on Married at First Sight, they had just met, but they were talking about again, questions you would feel awkward asking early on, which prompted us to want to talk about that. Mm-hmm. How do you phrase it? When is it too early?
Yeah.
Yeah. When is it too early to ask certain things? With you and I, our conversations early on fit an early relation? Fit the time, would you say? I don't think we ever had. We did. Kind
Go
of.
ahead. Take me back.
No.
Because I don't know what you're talking about.
No. We didn't have an awkward early conversation or a conversation that we should have saved for later on when we were more of an established couple. But we did do something just out of fun early on.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
So Vicky, you want to tell the story?
No.
Tell what it is? Why not?
No, you're asking me if I want to tell the story. I said no.
Yeah. So Vicky and I remember we were hanging out, laying in bed. I'm joking.
Literally.
We were laying in bed. We were just laying in bed. We were at my place in Brooklyn. I'm going to just say my place. My mama's house. We was at my mama's house in Brooklyn in my bedroom. Yes, I lived with my mom for a while. And we were talking, and we knew we had strong feelings for each other. So, but I don't think either one of us was like fully like, we were there. I'm in love, you're in love. We weren't there, or we thought we might have been getting there individually. So we said...
at our individual pace.
Yes. So we said, let's practice saying I love you to each other and get it out the way. Mm-hmm. Do you remember? Mm-hmm. So we stared at each other. We gazed into each other's eyes. And
Is this so embarrassing?
And we said, I love you to each other. Right?
Mm-hmm.
How did that feel?
It's so embarrassing to say that.
It was cute.
I think it's embarrassing and cute because it's you.
Because I'm cute. And you're embarrassing. It was just...
Writing that down for the therapist tomorrow.
No, it was... Anyways, go ahead.
No, but is this something that I would do in the future?
Just in a relationship?
If we end up with other people, is it something that I see myself doing with other people? No.
You know what though? I could see.
I just don't.
I could see someone. You haven't seen those people who like, and these are the people who have what society would call certain conversations too early. I could see somebody having that on their list of things that like, if we can't do this now, then why even bother? So say I love you. I want to see if I feel something.
I can see people being like that.
Yeah.
You know what's actually a more appropriate conversation?
Okay, go ahead.
For us.
What?
Because you're right, we really didn't have those conversations in our relationship. I think that was like the only thing. And it was just, and we literally said to each other, we were like, okay, let's just say it and just get it out of the way.
Like, don't get gas.
Because you literally were like, don't get gas. And when you said it, I was like, oh my God, he loves me.
I remember you told me that. In my head, I'm like, no.
And I'm like, shit. No, that was not what it was about.
Test run. Calm down.
But we really didn't have conversations that like, so how many kids do you want? And by what age?
Yeah.
And when are you looking to get married? Because I'm looking to get married at this age. How about you?
We did eventually. I remember
we went through the conversation of you saying, I want to get married and have kids. And I'm like, well,
you were
I don't.
I want to be a single parent. Like literally, that's what you said.
No, I said I don't want to be married. And if I have a kid, then I know I'm going to end up a single parent. So.
Which goes to next week's topic, things you said you'll never do.
Yeah. So... I think a more appropriate conversation would be what conversations if we don't end up together, right?
Okay.
What conversations are too soon? Like what conversations are you're like moving forward with other people that you'll
Between
be like
you and I?
No.
Oh.
Between you and the person you're dating that you're like that is none of your business.
So you mean like me moving on.
Yeah, and me and you are not together.
And I'm dating somebody, and that person starts to ask me, so tell me about Vicky. Like, something like that?
What topics would you be like, hells to the no? Like, like, no offense, but that's not something I feel comfortable discussing with you. Would it be that? Like, so tell me about your ex.
I think, yes.
You know what? I was about to say, Ode, you better say the topic and talking about me and our relationship.
No.
You know why?
Why?
Because you don't talk about your relationships with me. You don't talk about your past relationships
I can't do it with
me.
my new boo.
So you can't do it with you. No girl gets to have that pleasure if I didn't. And I've been here 10 years, okay? No. And I gave you your first child. Hell to the no.
No. No, I think that would be it. I think that would be if the person was to ask. So I could see them asking. I could see somebody asking and me being okay with.
Why didn't we work out?
What didn't work? I would answer that.
But how would you answer that? Because I've asked you that too. And your answers have always been so generic. So are you going to keep it generic too?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we were just as generic as you always give me the answers when I be trying to pray my little Dominican nosy ass into your prior life.
I think it would depend on where me and that person are in a relationship. I could see early on giving them a generic response. And then as we get tighter, we get more established, I could see myself being more honest. Well, to be honest, here's what I did. Here's what Vicky did that really caused us to not be compatible. Because now you trust that person a little more.
So what, like after a year?
I don't know. It could be a year for some people. It could be 2 months for some people. It could be in 10 years. Then that's when I open up. And say Vicky stole money from me, But I could see myself being more honest, I guess, or more open with them, or more descriptive as we go on.
More detailed
as we go on. But early on, we're still trying to see where it goes. Yes, we're exclusive, but I would still kind of be like, you don't need to know.
Here's my question: How young is too young?
How young is too young of a relationship?
To date.
How young is too young to date?
Yeah, like how young. Like you're like, are you like? I'm open to 20-year-olds.
Oh, you mean
age-wise? How young would you be like? Nah, B, I don't know if I can date somebody that's.
Yeah. I would say my age limit. I'm 38, so I'm gonna say 28.
10 years?
Yeah.
Wow. That's a long time.
But then factoring in where you maturity level.
No,
blah blah blah.
But you know that like your maturity level, you're guesstimating that by 28.
Yeah. By 28,
you should have some of your.
Please. Right now, somebody's looking at their friend like. No, I would say 28.
Wow, 10 years. That is such a huge 28. Gap.
What about you?
I tend to usually date people that are older than me.
Mm-hmm.
So, I would say my age or maybe a year or two.
Younger? Okay.
Maybe. But I usually fall within that range of within 4 years of my age older. No more than that. After that, I feel like, you a whole different generation. Like we didn't even grow up in the same, like you were a teenager when I was a kid. Like we don't have anything in common.
So is that a weird question for a date?
For me.
How old are you? I know it seems simple, but doesn't it come up?
It is a very weird question.
Yeah, like how old are you? Like why, unless I clearly look like I could possibly be 17, 18, 19, what does it matter,
I can see that. I can see that now.
Uh-huh.
As a person over 30,
old.
I can see that question, the curiosity of that question being a problem. In your 20s, I feel like that's a fair question to ask because you're like, you ain't trying to be with no old ass 36-year-old when you're in your 20s.
Okay, you're in your 20s. Fam, I just said I'm 38.
No, when you're in your 20s. But when you're in your 30s, it's like, bitch, you old too. Like, why are you so worried about my age? That is a weird question, but it's still a necessary question. Okay,
so you are in the club, right? You in the club, dancing to some music, whatever. And guy comes up, y'all start vibing. You and I are broken up. I'm on the other side of the club doing my thing. Go short. It's your birthday. One club, two different DJs.
I've been to clubs like that.
Guy comes up to you. And you guys vibing, hang out. Next day, you link up.
I don't think I've ever.
Why must you ruin like a fictional story?
Because that just does not sound like something I would do.
Sidebar: Vicky cannot play pretend. I'm not even.
I can.
I remember one time.
Just not in these scenarios.
I remember one time I asked Vicky. I was like, "Yo, let's say, play for pretend. You won, or you won $1 billion or whatever."
You know who I am? I'm the girl that's like, "Why I gotta be ride or die?
No,
Why I gotta die?
No.
Where are we going?"
But I was like, "Yo, you got $1 million. What would you do?" Vicky was like, "Oh, I think I had said something like, oh, I think I'd open up. I would buy like an apartment and rent it out, blah, blah." Vicky was like, "But everybody needs to be on a lease." And I was like, "Yo, bro, we're just playing pretend."
All right, fine. I'm vibing. We hang out the next day.
Yeah. And you're into him. He's into you. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, "Yeah, so, I'm just happy to finally be done with college for 4 or 5 years after high school. 4 or 5, 6 years after high school. I'm just glad to be done, So quickly, you start doing the math in your head. He's 25. You were vibing up to this point. Click.
Okay.
Attractive. You're attracted to him. He makes you feel good as you guys talk. You're laughing. He's funny. He's 25. You're gonna block your blessings.
I'm gonna have a good time, and I'm going to.
You're gonna ghost him, as the young kids say.
It's so interesting because I had this conversation earlier with somebody.
They're gonna say you had this situation happen.
No, I had this conversation earlier with somebody, and I'm like, I think I'm gonna just be, I can't say it because it's so vulgar.
Family show. Can you make it family friendly somehow?
No.
Okay.
But I just don't. I don't think that I would be getting into. I would be getting into a lot of situationships and not relationships.
Wait, tell me, and we'll blank this whole thing out. We'll just come back to me going, "Oh my gosh!" People be like, "What did she say?"
So say it.
I'll just be like, "Oh, Vicky, stop!" No, because I'm wearing a T-shirt from Catholic University right now, so don't say it.
Oh, you can't see it.
Oh, okay, go ahead. I don't know.
No, I said that I would just be.
Oh my.
Yeah, okay. That's what I said I'd pretty much be doing. So I would enjoy the 25-year-olds, and then I'd just be doing what I said I would do.
Okay.
But I feel like.
So you couldn't see yourself getting into something serious with somebody who turns out to be.
In their 20s.
In their 20s.
Yeah. No.
Established. Doing their thing, looks older. They have the look.
Care.
So it's not like if you're going to be walking into a family function.
No, and then that's just the awkwardness. I'm going to be walking into the family function. I'm going to be a cougar. Like, I didn't sign up for this. I didn't sign up for this life.
What do they call male cougars? What's the male equivalent to a cougar? I don't know. I should probably find out what I'm going to be called.
Sugar daddy.
Nothing.
So you're gonna be walking into functions with your sugar baby. But I don't know. I know for sure I wouldn't take anybody seriously in their 20s.
You never answered the question. The question that you asked me. What would be a conversation? So we broke up. You start dating. What's the conversation that you can't have, or what's the question that somebody can't ask?
A question that I would think is too soon is anything. Well, of course, anything with you. I would just be generic. I would just be like, no. Like, or it didn't work out. It just didn't work out. Anything about the future.
What do you mean?
Like, so do you want to get married, have more kids, blah, blah, blah. Like, don't ask me that shit.
When can they ask you that?
If we are in a relationship. No, not even, because I feel like you should know that before you get into a relationship.
Now you're in the spin cycle. It's like, what do you do?
But I would tell them up front, like, yo, I need to tell you about my godfather. I'm trying to live that life. So
wait, what?
I'm trying to live that life. I just got out of a really long, tumultuous,
amazing,
stressful,
beautiful,
traumatizing,
person, sexy, bald
relationship
There you go.
that I am tied to for the rest of my life because we have a son, and so I'm just trying to live like my godfather. Stress free. Catch a flight. Catch a flight when you got problems. I'm out. Get a little farm in DR.
Now what?
And live your best life.
What has been? I'm trying to think for myself. What has been? Have you been in a situation where a conversation came up and you're like, "Are we really talking about this right now?"
Well,
like some topic came up, and what was that question or topic? I'm trying to think if that happened to me, where I was just sitting with somebody dating early on, and I'm just there like, "Why do you want to know my blood type?" Like, it's mad early. I'll tell you that next month.
When I fall head over heels in love with you.
Exactly.
Let me ask you this. I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Oh, it's cool. I didn't ask you a question, but go ahead.
You did. I answered it.
You did. Go ahead.
I did.
All right, go ahead.
Did you have any, like looking back?
Mm-hmm.
Did you have any that was probably too soon moments with the episode 50 girl?
You trying to do this? Because a lot of people just recently listened to episode 50. Are we sure we want to have this?
Yeah. No, I'm asking you. I don't have the answers to that. Again, you are very private about your previous relationships. Whether it was the brief one or the long one or the committed one, you are very, very private about your past.
Looking back, I could say we did have a conversation about what we each wanted from, like, what was each of our goals, like family-wise, relationship-wise, like what's your long-term like goal? Mm-hmm. It wasn't like what's your plans for you and I. It was more of like what's something that you aim for, and it's the same thing I've told you. What I look forward to or what I aim for when it comes to like a family relationship. So I think that might have been too heavy of a conversation or something to be talking about as that early. But that's just me. I would have that convo on a first date. That's just me.
Whoa.
If somebody
that's pretty heavy.
If somebody asked me like, what's your thing? What's your goal? And I don't mind saying that on a first date, telling them, hey, I really look forward to a family.
Let me ask you
I think
this.
That's what. Go ahead.
I'm pretty sure that her answer was very similar to what you were looking for, or else you would have not tried to pursue that. But
I don't think she ever really answered me, to be honest. I don't think it was that answer, to be honest.
Do you feel like as you were answering it was a hope of like hopefully
with
this
you?
Is something that
No, it really
that's
was.
why I think that's just such a weird question.
I don't think it's a weird question because let's say you're asking it because for you it's I just want us to travel the world, just me and you, for the rest of our lives, and that's what you're thinking. Or that's what your thing is, but the person's response is, white picket fence, you, me, and the 4 kids, and you be like, okay, good to know. Or
I think that's a too soon question.
No, don't get me wrong. I think it is too soon. I don't mind answering that.
Do you think that was the only too soon thing, though?
I feel like you are saying that knowing, having what should be my response already in your head.
Of course.
What do you?
I don't ask. Well, I don't know what girl asks a question without already having an answer.
Yo,
preloaded.
Okay,
No, I'm just joking. This question.
No.
This, you know what I'm asking because I only know like 5 things of that. Mm-hmm. Of episode 50. Like that is, I know her name, but because I don't know her full government name, I'm going to officially call her episode 50.
But do you know why I just said that? Because I've told you before. I've said to you, I was like, Vicky,
I know. I remember. I know.
Yeah, I feel like you asked me questions with the answer already. You don't want to, no, you're not asking me to hear my answer. You're asking me just to see if my answer is what you is. Whether
yes,
it's the
but
same
it's under different circumstances.
Yeah.
That. It's under different circumstances.
Okay.
So, like I said, I really only know like about 50 things. I'm not 50 things. Sorry, I really only know like about 6 things about episode 50.
Okay.
So, is that the only thing that you feel like it was too much too soon? Like that kind of conversation?
With that person? Or you mean like in any relationship?
With that person.
Yeah. Why? You're referring to... I know what you're referring to. Her meeting my family?
Hello.
I have never had an issue with someone meeting my family, whether it's, if that's the case, you met my family a little bit too early and in an awkward situation.
I agree. I absolutely agree.
I don't see an issue with you meeting my family.
So to you, it's not as a big deal to me as to me it is. So that's why maybe I feel like that's too much too soon.
I don't have an issue with it because, one, it's not that I don't care for their opinion, but if they would have come to me and be like, oh, nah, I'd be like, okay, thanks for that, but here's what I'm doing. I would also kind of like to see how you are. I want to see if you're going to be phony. I want to see if you're going to be you. I want to see if you're going to be awkward. I want to see if you're going to be...
That's maybe that's why I think that introducing someone too soon to your family is too much too soon. Because you want to see how they are with your family, but you just started dating them. Like, that's a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that's something that you do when you feel like you're falling in love with this person. Like, yo, let me see if they fit in my world. And not let me see if they fit in my world, even though I'm not really falling in love with them, but let me see if they fit in my world.
I don't know. I've never.
That's why, to me, it's like, I think that's that's why meeting family, like meeting your mom, that's a huge deal. Although I did not
How did you meet my family,
I'm not saying
Vicky?
that I did. What I'm saying is...
Story time.
I'm not going into that story, but what I'm saying is that it is, maybe that's why it's not a big deal to you, but it is a big deal to me. So therefore, I saw it as too much.
Story time.
There is no story time because we're not talking about that.
So
we're not talking about that. So
okay.
Why?
Because it's a funny story.
No.
It was a nice little walk of shame from my bedroom to the bathroom.
Oh my God! Oh dang! What's wrong with you?
You slept over.
I know that I slept over.
Okay. Vicky slept over. We had probably been... I don't think we weren't official yet.
No.
Vicky...
I was out at the club.
Yeah, I think we went
with you.
We went to the club, met a guy,
was
vibing,
that
chilling in the back.
We did. First of all, we did not meet at the club.
I was in the other side of the club. Go shorty.
We did not. Is that the night we went to 1-on-1?
Probably. So
very interesting night. Might I add?
On our way back, or after the club, Vicky was tired, so I was like, "Hey, just stay here. Don't."
I drove with you to the club.
Okay.
Which is how I ended up back at his place.
Because Vicky was gonna drop me off.
My car. No, I was in your car.
Okay, I can't recall.
Well, then let me clarify, because you're making it seem like I followed you all the way from Manhattan to Brooklyn, which is like the same drive from Manhattan to my house. I was in Ode's car, and we drove back to his place. We stopped at McDonald's. And
this stuff isn't relevant.
It is very relevant because I was super tired. I was knocked out.
Okay.
And Ode was like, yo, you look really tired. Like, are you okay to drive? And I was like, I'm tired. Now, the thing about it is that if I'm tired, I really cannot drive, and I don't force myself to do it because I slammed into a divider on the Garden State Parkway because I was tired. I fell asleep, and I slammed right into that damn thing. So after that, I really just don't drive if I'm tired. I will pull over and sleep. So when we got back to Ode's house, I was like, yo, I'm really, really tired. And he was like, all right, just sleep in my room,
So Vicky slept in my room.
Ode was not there.
I slept. I slept in the living room. And the next morning, my family, we're all like early birds. So my mom,
for real.
My mom was up. My sister was up. Everybody just up in the living room.
And his room leads right into the living room.
And then out walks this young harlot who spent the night in a man's bedroom in his mama's house. Damn, have some standards. The man still live with his mama, and you still spent the night in his bedroom on his twin bed or his fold out bed. I had a fold out. I didn't have a twin bed. I had a fold out. It was a... Listen, I was coming into myself. I was becoming the man that I am today. Yeah, so Vicky did the walk. Vicky walks out, and I look back, and I was like, oh, my gosh. Look at you, you little harlot. And my parents said hi. I mean, my mom said hi. My sister said hi. And Vicky just said, in shame, bowed her head, and she was like, hi. Embarrassing. Have some respect for yourself. Since then, my family just look at you like, ugh. No respect. I'm joking. But that did happen. But my family, it reminds me of when, we're going so off topic. It reminds me of when I said to my mom, hey, and this is back on topic. Hey, why is it that you're always, like, the way I would say it, 'cause I was younger, like, harassing me when it comes to, like, relationships and who I'm dating and what I'm doing. And my mom said, because you introduce people to me, or you introduce me to people. And I was like, oh, you're right. So she's met just about everybody that I've ever dated, because I always bring them home, or I have them meet her in some capacity, whatever. And I was like, oh, okay, that's why I have no issue with that. I realize she appreciates that. Mm-hmm. She should know who her son is going out with, Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm trying to think. There's definitely some people that she never knew I dated that she probably wouldn't have been happy knowing that I dated them or hung out with them or whatever.
I think that's a great topic.
Nah. No, trust me. Mm-mm.
It's not a great topic after I just told you not to tell the story and you went ahead
No,
and
trust
said
me.
the story.
Trust me.
I think it's a great topic.
It should stay.
I think the people want to meet you. They want to know you. They want to know about you.
Okay.
About your life.
They don't gotta know everybody that I dated, or my mom doesn't need to know everybody I dated.
Well, your mom just found out that you dated people that she never met.
She met them. I just don't think she would like the fact that I dated them.
Oh, she didn't know you were dating them.
Yeah. She didn't know me and these people have history.
I think your mom should ask you. I would like to be there. I think your mom should come over and we should sit in this room.
No.
And have that conversation. Just so that I can get like a practice in on how this would go with Kalel.
Anyway,
I think this is a good
continue,
research.
Vicky, continue.
Anyway, so I think that if we started dating other people, for sure, any question regarding you, it'd be like hands off. Mm-hmm. Like I wouldn't really talk about. I wouldn't talk about anything of the future. I'd kind of be a closed book. Honestly, it'd be just a waste of time to date me, to try to take me seriously. I'd be honest with you. Because I would just be like, so you trying to go drink sangria? Or like you trying to eat? You trying to do something? Like I think I just would want to I just want to have fun. Not really like, oh, I got a wedding dress, got to find someone to marry myself in it with, like, I'll just be like, definitely can't meet my son. Definitely, like, not even my dog.
That's definitely one thing that's too early. People wanting to. What if they just want to know? What if they want to know about your kid? Not they want to meet him. They want to know about your child.
None of your business.
Oh, how old is he? Oh, I heard your podcast. I heard you mentioned that he has a condition. What is that about? Blah blah blah.
I talk about it on the podcast.
Then what's the point of coming and have drinks with me if you're just gonna send me to your podcast?
Because I'm just trying to have fun. I already told you what the mission is. If me and you are not together. I'm just trying to have fun. They're lucky if I even give them my real name. I'm infamous for that. I will give you a fake name like nobody's business. Half the people out there think my name is something completely different, and every time they say hi to me, I go along with it.
You're like, oh, we're friends on Facebook, aren't we?
Yeah, I'm like, oh, hi. I just those topics are too soon. And then I always thought like because I think it's fair to say that if me and you are not together, you would be married.
You don't know.
First.
Maybe I just want to chill.
Ode, you are a helpless romantic. Like you, not with me, but you are a romantic person. And I'm pretty sure that I could bet my life on it that if me and you broke up, you would be married within a year or two. I always wonder, will Ode ever
invite you to the wedding?
I wouldn't go. But would you make it? Would you want me and your wife to have some kind of a relationship, to know each other, and to like, would you purposely try to set or us to have some kinds of relationship, being that this is now a third parent to Kalel? I always thought about that.
It wouldn't be one of those. It wouldn't be a priority of mine to make it like a Will Smith and his wife and Jada Pinkett kind of situation. Where they're like best friends, weird. They travel together, they travel separate. Like,
yeah, but I also like, people think that happened overnight. I really think that is a trio kind of thing that was formed over the lifespan of the oldest son. So like the son is like 20 something. Yeah, I feel like it took 20 something years for them to get there.
I like when people say.
So I don't think that was something like, like I think that was a 20-year effort.
Yeah. So if it was just y'all know each other, respect each other, and leave it at that, that's fine. To me, you wouldn't have to be best friends. The same way, vice versa. I wouldn't expect you to. I wouldn't care if you didn't want me. If you didn't care if me and your future husband, your future husband, were best friends. We knew each other. We respect each other. We acknowledge each other. And we are considerate of each other's role, and we leave it at that. Doesn't have to be anything more. Once that level of respect is there, going both ways.
Yeah, but
totally fine with that.
I understand that, but would you be the one trying to facilitate that there is some form of respect there, right? Because like naturally, all people should be having respect for each other initially, but would you be the one taking lead on that? Like, hey, I would just like to introduce you guys.
I would have to.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And when would it be too soon to do that?
Honestly, I was gonna say only if we definitely are getting married, but if we are in a serious relationship. Honestly, I think it would be only if we were moving in together. Because now you are definitely going to be interacting with my son. Like, definitely. To the point where, like, he'll probably go to sleep seeing you and wake up seeing you.
But what if this person... Come on, we're adults. People move in before they actually move in.
Oh, no. Oh.
So...
yeah.
Do you feel like that would be too late if like the person is always there? They don't technically live there, but the person is always there. So Kalel's already seeing them.
I just feel like unless we're getting married, I'm totally fine with y'all just knowing of each other. And her just knowing that, there's certain things there's a lot of things you just can't do when it comes to him. So just don't worry about that. Because right now, even though if we're serious, you're still just a girlfriend, Does that make sense?
Yeah, I could see that being very problematic for your relationship.
Yeah. It's cool.
Okay.
And if she ain't down, she could bounce.
Yeah,
1,000 more
Mr. Helpless Romantic.
Exactly.
That's like, no, you're a helpless romantic. You'll be like, no, we got to find a way.
I need you guys to be best friends. Can we all go on a retreat as a family and bond and become one? Here,
I just told you about my dream.
I'll hold the talking stick. You want to tell people about your dream?
No.
You want to end on that? Tell them about the dream?
No.
All right. You want to end on some cards?
Yeah, we'll end on cards before we end on ending.
Some positivity.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So for those who are first-time listeners,
oh my goodness, I pulled the same one.
This is a quick little game me and Vicky like to play at the end of every episode, where we just ask each other some questions.
This is a little deep.
They're like conversation starters. We actually do this with our therapist. Shout out to them or to him. We'll see him tomorrow. I have one.
I can see. Okay.
I think you went first last time.
So does that mean I have to ask you first?
Sure.
What's a memory from your childhood you most want to forget?
I asked. That question came up in counseling. And it was
with me.
I think I asked
wasn't
it.
Sitting there.
No, I think I asked it to you. Yeah, that question came up in counseling. Wow. I think I asked it to you. No.
Just answer the question now.
Anyways. A memory from my childhood that I would like to forget.
Yes. Pick the most one. The one you most want to forget.
The one I most want? Let's go like 2 or 3 down because I feel like the one I most want to forget I can't say on air.
Okay, that's fine. But I still want to know after we come on.
I'm going to say when I got hit by a police car.
You know what? I would think that that's number 1. So now I really want to know what number 1 is.
Yeah, when I got hit by a police car.
I'm going to leave this facing out to ask you after we come on.
Only because yes, I lived, I'm not going to say I was fine after. I still have some, what's the word, long-lasting or lasting effects of the accident, physical effects of the accident. But it literally does stay with me. Like, if I'm driving at night and I hear sirens and I can't see where they're coming from, I twitch or I'm taken back to that time.
Yeah, that's PTSD.
I always tell myself I can draw what it looked like being on the floor sideways and looking at the street and seeing the cars and the lights and the lights coming from the stores. It stayed, and that's, I always said I wish that on no one. I wish being hit by a car on nobody.
Yeah, that sounds
It's
pretty
scary.
traumatic.
It's painful. Emotionally and mentally, it stays with you because you always think back to just how worse it could have been.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie. Part of me would like to have seen what I looked like.
Mm-hmm.
From what people said, I flew into the car. Then when the car braked, I flew out. Some people said they thought I was dead. Whoever got hit, they thought was dead. But it stays with me. I think that's the one memory I would like to forget because it has affected me sometimes while driving. Like I said, I'm driving at night and I'll kind of like tense up when I hear a siren and I don't know where it's coming from.
That sounds, yeah.
So Vicky, how can I be a better parent? Dyfus might be listening, so.
How can you be a better parent? I think that if you were a little more involved instead of being here, if you were a little more involved with him out there.
Out there where?
Outside.
Oh, outside.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think that if you didn't always sit up here, to clarify, Ode does go outside with him, but seeing how much fun Kalel has, and how I feel like you naturally like to go outside and just like enjoy nature, enjoy the outside. You hold yourself up, and I think that you don't notice when it's been a long stretch of time that you've just been up here. Like we talked about over the weekend, how on the weekends we're just indoors all day.
Yeah.
So I feel like if there's any area to improve, it would be that.
Okay. Well, you could now.
That's not what the card asks.
But that's what everyone does when somebody is telling them about this stuff. It's like, why? Watch. Ooh,
Yeah.
I can't wait till she's done.
And they're like, no, remember, you're actively listening. It's like, no, I am. I heard her.
It's like, no, go ahead. I'm listening.
I heard.
So we always encourage people to have those kind of conversations. Make your own cards. Buy some of the games that are out there. There's so many. There's the And. That's the one that we use with our counselors. That's the one that we've been using on past episodes. So we encourage you guys to do that. It's great conversation starters. And you'll be surprised at some of the answers from people who you may have been dating for 10 years. And you might swear you know them inside and outside. Now, last week, we started a new segment on our show because we wanted to end our show every week with some positivity.
Yes.
And we figured we would highlight something positive. I don't want to say just our friends, but just something positive. Am I explaining it correctly? Last week, we highlighted some of our friends that were doing some great digital things. Grace, okay, she corrected us on how to say her last name.
Shonde.
Grace Shonde and her website.
Shonde.
Grace Shonde.
Yeah.
and her website, and her blog that she has. And then we also highlighted, who did I mention? The Not the Best podcast, who just dropped episode 0 of their brand new podcast. Episode 1 coming out next week.
I like that, episode 0.
Yeah, episode 0.
And I'm looking forward to episode 1.
Yes, shout out to them. So Vicky, what's some positivity this week?
So some positivity.
Positivity.
The name is Better and Batter, which I think it's cute.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pun, batter, Batter, as like cake batter for baking.
Okay.
So she is testing dog treats, and she gave a bunch of samples to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, oh my God, let me know how they are. So I was going to give one. I told her, I said, yo, I'm going to try giving one to Jerry, my mom's bougie dog, to see if he likes it. And if he likes it, then you know you got good stuff. Well, anyways, Better and Batter made these treats, and Amore loved them. Like, after she would have them, she would be like quiet to herself, still licking, like going around and around. So she's making dog treats, and I'm just excited because I feel like there's a lot of like bakers, and there's only one making dog treats. And you know, us dog lovers love giving our dogs the best of the best.
And our dog is spoiled.
And she loved it. These things are amazing. So definitely check her out. Better and Batter.
Cool. Our neighbors are outside being loud.
Yeah, so if you hear noise, it's a very beautiful day. I wouldn't know because I haven't been outside because I've been in pain. But everyone is outside today, apparently. That's what social media said.
I want to shout out, I mentioned it earlier, the Jazz Vince show.
Yes.
Shout out to Vince Bracey. Well, the show right now is only on Station Head, which is the app. I believe right now it's only available for Apple, Team Android. It's only available in the Apple store. They recap Married at First Sight, which I've never watched before. I believe it's 7 seasons in, I believe, something like that. I just started watching it just so I could tune into the show, and I'm hooked. Again, I could probably never do it.
Be careful. We gotta start doing the thing for next week's topic.
The list of things we said you'd never do.
Man, that's like every day for me.
So the Jazz Vince show, and that's the THEJASVYNCE show. The Jazz Vince show. It's on Station Head. They recap the most recent episode of Married at First Sight. They give their input, their feedback. They sometimes bring people on air to talk about their favorite couples.
Oh, that's cool.
So check them out on Station Head. Maybe they'll bring it to Instagram soon. If they want a producer, hit me up. So shout out to Jazz and Vince. They're an amazing couple that I think they would be great as a podcast because they took some chances on their relationship and their lives with the big move that they made as Vince, flexed on everybody and became the in-arena host for the Los Angeles Clippers. And you could probably see him now when you watch some of the games in the bubble and they have that big screen where people are virtually tuning in and his face is always there on national TV.
That's so cool.
So shout out to the Jazz Vince show. The show airs every Thursday. I believe it's at 6 p.m. 5 p.m., 6 p.m.
Eastern time or Pacific?
Eastern time. It's where's the exact?
Because they're on the West Coast, so I had to.
My math's trash. 6 p.m. Eastern time, so 3 p.m. Cali time. What do they call it? PCT? What's the PST? Pacific Standard Time.
Right, just like EST.
Oh, they did good. Thank you all for tuning in to this episode of the You, Me, We podcast.